What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 4
Four or five.
of the Apartment K podcast. We are back.
Oops. Just leave that there.
Yeah. Hopefully, you guys didn't hear that. So yeah, I guess a lot has happened since the last episode.
The last 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks.
Has it been 2 weeks?
I don't know, because last week we didn't record at all.
Yeah.
No.
That's true.
Because last week, I guess, a little update. We went to Mount Shasta, had a little mini getaway, which was great. With the wilderness, small ass town.
Yeah, it was
What did
pretty
you think?
fun. It gave me like Big Tahoe vibes, but like way less lit.
And
Which
like
is
stranger people.
Yeah. I mean, hippie whites. The
Yeah,
usual.
exactly. I totally just touched my nose. Hopefully nobody thinks I'm picking my nose.
Oh, you are. But yeah, I guess first off, we had to restart the 75
Oh
hard.
yeah, sadly, it's because my friend came to town, Andrea,
Yeah, it's all her fault.
and then I ended up drinking, and then we drank in Mount Shasta. Actually,
We did drink a little in Mount Shasta, but to our defense, there was literally nothing else to do.
it's true. It was a beautiful Airbnb, but literally, I assume people there just drink or do drugs,
Yeah.
or they're like older people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got like retirement vibes. Like there's a lot of like
Yeah.
older people, older whites.
It seems also like at least Mount Shasta, it's supposed to be like indigenous. Like
Is it?
that's what my uncle was saying. I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet, but like it's like a sacred land type of thing. I mean, it's a national forest, so
Well, it's definitely been colonized now because
Well,
I didn't
yeah.
see not one indigenous person up there.
No, it was a lot of white people.
We saw literally 2 black people the whole time we were there.
Couple of Asians, but yeah.
Yeah, a couple
I
of
didn't even
Asians.
see any Hispanic. Right.
Nope.
It was interesting. I felt kind of out of place.
It was cool though. Like I liked the like slowy, like small town vibe that it had.
Yeah.
Like that was really cool. I felt like, despite the outward appearance, it probably was like a really nice town full of like people who knew each other and stuff like that.
I mean, what's funny about it for me was there was like one like drugstore, and literally that was for like
Oh, the CVS.
yeah, the CVS
Yeah.
was literally just medication.
They
you
had a
know?
CVS pharmacy and like they meant that literally. Like it's just a pharmacy. It was probably like the size of this room, honestly. Like
Right.
it wasn't even that big.
Which I was shocked about. And then they literally had like I don't even remember seeing any junk food, like fast food places.
I think they had a McDonald's.
Did they?
Yeah. 'Cause
Oh, you're
your
right, because
parents got
my
McDonald's.
my aunt got McDonald's.
And I remember there was a Burger King because I was like, they have them everywhere.
Oh
when
yeah,
we
you're
pulled in.
right.
Yeah.
But besides that, literally there we had good dinner. We had like pasta, Sparky's, if you guys
Yeah.
ever in the area.
Shout out to Sparky's. They're pretty good.
Delicious.
I don't know. It was a cool little getaway for sure.
Yaks was cool. There was cool like
Yaks
you
is
could
pretty cool.
tell that it's a very like holistic Whole Foods. There was a place that
Yeah.
had like green juice and like a kombucha tap, which
Yeah. That
I've
and
never been to like Portland, but gave me Portland vibes. You know what I mean? That's what I
For
assume
sure.
white people from Portland are like.
Also the supermarket they had, it was like it was like a very they had 2 supermarkets or just the one?
One was more of like a specialty store, the Berryessa thingy, and then the
Yeah.
other one was like more of a supermarket with the sandwich deli.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
So the one with the deli I liked a lot. That's where we got
Yeah.
the marinades and stuff
We
at.
totally did.
But that all seemed like very like locally sourced type thing.
I mean, I think that store made it,
Yeah.
right?
No,
I
for
think
sure.
that store. And then there was 2 liquor stores and like 3 bars. Like I feel like it's a couple thousand people live in one high school, I think.
Yeah, in one high school. You think 1,000 people live there?
I mean, maybe more. I don't know. I'm
I
so
was
bad
gonna
at-
say like 400.
Oh,
dude.
you
Like,
think? No way.
it wasn't a big town?
I'm like, my graduating class was more than that in high school.
It wasn't a big town, dude. They had 2 main streets, and we were like on one of them with the
That's
Airbnb.
true. I mean, we were able to walk within like 30 minutes the whole way,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure.
Just checking my steps, which was cool. It was like a nice little getaway. Oh my god, I keep getting all these six.
It was nice, but I don't know. I feel bad for like not sticking with the 75 hard, but
Same.
I feel
same.
like when you go on like vacation, that's like your one excuse to kind of like just let
Right.
loose or whatever.
And I feel like when like my friend came and stuff, it just It was all excuse. I could have not. And she was
Yeah.
not even trying to drink like that. But it was just more me being like,
We
well,
haven't seen each other in a while. The funny thing
yeah.
is, we had so many plans before she came. We are like, we're gonna get you a week gym membership
Dude,
pass.
literally, we
We
were
like
supposed to
looked it
hike.
up. We were gonna hike.
We were supposed to go to Santa Cruz.
We had all these plans, and then like day one, I think you guys went out, and that just like set the
Yeah,
tone.
because she came drunk. That's what happened.
Oh yeah,
Because her flight kept
her
getting
flight.
delayed, and then she ended up like getting brunch, and she got drunk. And then that night, I got super fucked up. I like fell twice. It was a fun night, but the next day I was still drunk. I was like, ooh, I
Yeah.
kept like laughing.
Once that hangover kicks in, it's kind of hard to just go back to
Yeah.
like not drinking.
And then I didn't do that bad, honestly, like eating wise and stuff, my diet wise. But
Mhm.
I mean, I'm back at it again. Been going to the gym for like 7 days straight now. So
Yeah, we're
I'm
back at it.
trying.
We're restarting today
restarting, we
officially.
reprinted it out again.
So that's what's up.
Yeah.
Um, I
But-
don't know.
I guess this week's kind of topic is more. Did you still want to talk about financial?
I mean, we can. I didn't
Finances?
really have anything planned
Yeah.
because we were supposed to do a podcast in Mount Shasta, and that never happened. So
Nope.
I feel like all the things I wanted to talk about over there, I like forgot about already.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I guess we could do.
I mean, I think it'd be interesting to talk about your financial journey and like where you are now, in my opinion.
Sure. I don't know if I would call it a journey.
It's a journey. It's been a journey.
I don't know where to start. I feel like I'll start with like graduating from college.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing, like going to college, you know, they sell you with the dream that like you're gonna get out and there's gonna be all these jobs lining up for you, and the fact that you have a degree, you're gonna have like this high paying job or whatever.
Right.
And as we probably all know now, that's pretty much a lie. Like
Right.
they still expect you to have the degree and then jump into the entry level job, which is like,
Right.
well, if you're gonna train me anyways, why did I go to school for 4 years? You know.
Right. Exactly.
So when I got out, I kind of like saw that immediately. Unless you're like an engineer or like you go to law school or like you have one of those like hardcore like skills that are like in demand. Like I had a social science degree, like psychology,
Same.
and what I wanted to do was to go into research, and that just kind of like fell through.
What you really wanted to do was Cox I remember.
Yeah, and they completely
They
fucked me on
effed you
that. But
over.
whatever. Shout out to you, Merced. So my whole thing was like, whatever job I get, I like the next job I have to make more.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
That was my rule for like whatever I did. So it's like I'm not gonna be too harsh on myself on like my first job, but the next job, I have to get paid more. And I think I've stuck to that pretty consistently. So like, you know, I worked at Bowser's. I mean, like
right.
whatever, $17, and then I think my next job was like 18 something.
What was your next job after that?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I've had so many jobs.
Yeah,
like, you know
so
what
many
I mean?
like random little
So
odd
many
jobs.
random jobs, which I will say, I forget who told me this. I think it was my old boss at Ashbury Images. He was
Okay.
like he was looking at my resume, and I was like, yeah, I have a bunch of random experience, but I think the skills I've learned are like very applicable. And he was like, dude, he was like, you're doing the right thing. Like in your 20s, you're supposed to like kind of just try stuff out, because you
Makes
don't really
sense.
you also don't really know what you want to do.
Exactly.
Even if you think you want a particular career path, you might, you know, get an internship or start a job and realize that you hate it, you know?
Right, totally.
So he pretty much was just like, in your 20s, like experiment, have a bunch of different jobs, like don't worry about it too much, as long as you can articulate how you've learned from those
Makes
jobs or whatever,
sense.
you know?
I feel like what really wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, good.
No, I was gonna say what really I feel like jump started your like savings and like I mean I feel like you've always been very money like not money minded but like good with your money.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when you got the after your graduation party you got like a nice lump sum of little cash.
Yeah.
I feel like that really helped your savings, which is very impressive because I got like not as much but I got a little less and I just kind of wasted that, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was your first one you were like I'm really gonna save this, which is
I mean, but like you
Impressive.
said, I've always been kind of like
Yeah.
money. I don't want to say money savvy, but like money aware.
yeah.
Um,
Do you think that goes from like your dad?
yeah, I mean, like both my parents have businesses, so I think I learned like the value of making money
Mm-hmm.
and then like keeping it.
Okay,
Whereas
makes
like I
sense.
feel like a lot of times people get money and they just like blow it because they're just like, well, I'll just get more money, you know?
That's literally my mentality. What I'm
Yeah.
trying to like break out of right now.
But it's like if you hold on to the money, you can like purchase better opportunities.
Totally.
Like the whole idea of like investing in yourself, it sounds corny, but it's kind of true. Like if you invest in yourself, it'll open up more opportunities for you later on in the road.
Right.
So for me, it's like I always want to have like some money set aside for
A
like
rainy day.
well, a rainy day for sure. Like you should have savings in case of emergencies, but in
Yeah.
case like an opportunity comes up,
That's true.
like I'm about to do the UX shit,
Right.
and it's like
Totally.
I've been saving the money for that.
Right.
If I hadn't like saved up that money, I wouldn't be able to do it. You know?
No, totally.
So
Totally.
for me, like I'm always thinking about like that type of shit.
Yeah. You're thinking long term, which
Yeah.
I feel like that's something I kind of like need. Well, I'm trying to do it now. I'm learning more because of you when like,
Yeah.
getting older.
I mean, it's a mature thing for sure. I think as you
Yeah.
get older, you kind of like all the things that you wanted to buy. Cause like trust me, like I've bought all the dumb shit too, but then it's
Right.
like that stuff doesn't really. At least now, I'd say it doesn't really do much for me. Like I don't like I like nice like clothes or whatever, but like I don't care for the newest like fashion or
Right.
whatever. Like when like I have a PS5 now, which you got me, but when
Right.
it first came out, like so many people were like rushing,
Right. Right.
paying like 3 times the price to get it. Like that doesn't do anything for
Which
me.
is so
You know what I
crazy.
mean? Like my car's pretty basic. Like I don't
Right.
need a nice ass car. Like it just needs to be able to get me around. So like I'm very like
Practical.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's not a lot of things that I feel like I have to have. You know?
Totally.
So I think that's a huge help.
I think so. Whereas like I'm the opposite. The more money I make, the more
The
I'm
more
like
yeah.
I want to spend it. Like especially like TikTok's my biggest kind of problem.
they
I
get
see
you
like
for
the
sure.
I mean they get me, and it's their marketing it towards people. Like I totally fall into the
Yeah.
trap. And I'm like, well, I want to get this like hair wrap. I want to get this clothing. I want to get this food,
Yeah.
And like sadly like no, I want to say 9 times out of 10 they turn out to be pretty good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They know what they're talking about. So it's like I guess that's my problem right now, finding that balance, still trying to save, but still like, because I see those as like little rewards. I feel like I work very hard, so
My reward is
you
just
know?
having the money.
I mean, I guess that's true,
Like,
yeah.
but also it's because like I realize I'm not very materialistic. Like I prefer to spend my money on like experiences. Like I would drop like a bunch of like when we went to Hawaii. Like I'll
Yeah.
drop money on that or like going snowboarding or something or like if we
Right.
were gonna plan a trip, like I wouldn't mind spending the money on that. Whereas like I've bought expensive things in the past and it's just like either they fucking disappear or you never use them or like whatever it is,
Right.
you lose it or whatever.
Especially with clothes, I'm like, I don't wear like
Yeah.
half the stuff I buy, honestly.
That's a problem for me because I'll buy new clothes thinking like I don't have clothes, and then I'll go home and like look through the closet and be like, oh, I just didn't look. Like,
Right,
like
totally.
I just wore like the same 4 shirts and decided that I needed new
New
clothes.
shit.
You know,
That's me with like I have like the same like 5 black dresses,
Yeah.
and I just keep buying it like
Dude,
slightly different.
every time you buy booties, I give you shit. Like what?
Wow, I only
There's,
have like
a-
2 booties.
Now. If we look, I'm sure we'll find like 3 more pairs.
Okay,
somewhere.
there's like 4 booties right there, but still, one isn't mine. The other one I thrifted. The other
Oh
one's
my
my
God.
aunt. I mean, my mom's.
But yeah, like I don't
Clothing
know.
is a big one for me. I do buy a lot of clothes and like makeup and skincare shit.
Now I'm trying to think like what do I spend my money on really? Like food,
Probably
I guess.
food and alcohol.
Alcohol, yeah.
That's mainly it. I don't think anything else really. Your
Nothing
car is
really.
like kind of a maintenance thing.
But that's like a necessity.
necessity? Yeah, that's true.
It's not like I'm buying cool shit to put in my
That's true.
car.
Yeah, that's true.
Just buying rims and shit.
I think that's basically it. And then sometimes you buy clothes and sometimes like gun mods and stuff,
Yeah.
But like besides that, you're pretty like good with that.
I don't know, man. I'm a simple guy, I guess. Like, I also just know like where I want to be in like 10
Yeah,
years.
no, I get you.
And I feel like if I had like a shit ton of money in the bank, then I would like kind of splurge a little bit. But
No, I totally understand. And that's what I need to be on. Like, I save a little bit. I'm like, well, I can like reward. I'm just too
Yeah.
much about the reward. And I don't know.
I don't know what do you do about that?
I don't know. I have no idea why I'm like that because I'm trying to think with my childhood. I guess my mom would be like, if you get a good grade, you get like what reward,
She
So
would buy you shit.
exactly. So I guess I was like kind of grew up with that reward
interesting.
system. Totally. So I do like to reward myself a lot. And I've heard this thing actually. I forgot. I think it was like a BuzzFeed thing of like people's stories. And this girl said like she grew up kind of not poor, but like not having hella money, and her mom would kind of do like these special splurges.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she's older, same like me,
Yeah.
she does the same thing. She's like, "Ooh, like I had a hard week, let me
Let
splurge
me
on myself."
splurge.
And that's totally my mentality.
It's funny you said that because I didn't really have like rewards
Oh,
per
really? For
se.
good grades and all that?
Not real. I
Or like
mean,
chores, I got money. Like I totally
I
babysitting, I got money.
I had chores, but I had to do the chores whether I got money or not. You know what I mean? Like if I got money, it was a bonus. Like it was like
Right.
we'll give you an allowance because you've been doing so good. But then
Yeah.
I would take that money and like go buy candy or some shit and like
See?
sell it at school and then like double my money or like sell
Yeah,
CDs and
I
shit.
never thought like that. And then it wasn't like every little chore. It was more like I watched my brother a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Like I sacrificed like my hangout, like
So they
being
would give you money for that.
exactly. And it wouldn't be hella, it'd be like 20 for the week.
Right.
But like with the grades, I mean they did reward me. Like they would be like, "You want to go out to eat, blah blah blah," you know? Which was always like very nice. So, I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess I did kind of have rewards, but it was like, again, it'd be like oh, like if you get good grades for the whole year, we'll go to Tahoe type shit.
Okay,
You know what
cool,
I mean?
cool. Damn, that's
Yeah.
I mean,
But
again,
it wasn't
that's
like,
why you're very like you think long term,
yeah,
you know?
it wasn't like, oh, you like you're supposed to pass the test. Like,
I got you.
my parents didn't give a shit. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're supposed to pass
That's
the
too
test.
funny. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't. My parents just did for some reason, and
Yeah.
it helped. Like it did make me want to get good grades and shit, you know. So it did work, honestly. And they do the same for my brother, but he's is better because he gets like straight A's.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I.
But your brother, maybe like I don't want to make it a gender thing, but your brother doesn't want a lot of shit either.
Totally not.
Like he doesn't care about
Totally not. But
damn
he's
near
a very
anything.
different. He's
Like
kind of
what-
neurotypical.
Does he just get like video games and shit?
That too, and like mostly food
Yeah.
rewards. Yeah.
Like I feel like he's.
Whereas mine would be more expensive. I'd be like,
Yeah,
clothes,
you're
blah, blah,
picky.
blah. Or money, you know.
I feel like your brother's like pizza. Cool, thanks.
Totally, he's very low
He's like,
maintenance.
I'm good.
They're
for
kind
the
of
rest
like,
the year.
I know, like they used to spend way more money on me, but it is. You're right. I was a girl, so like I would
Yeah.
require more shit. Like I would buy makeup, all that shit. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's interesting. Because as much as I feel like I've struggled with money, and I don't want to like assume, but but like my family probably struggled more. But like they weirdly like I've never felt like without, you know, like I was
Yeah.
missing anything, not anything within terms, whatever I wanted, they got it for me.
Mhm.
So I don't know, it's interesting, like how like my mentality and how it ties in with, it always goes back to the parents,
Yeah.
you know? And I think when I have kids, I would want to reward them, but like not all the time, but
I think, but
especially getting A's, like come on.
it's how you structure the reward.
Yeah, I guess.
Like I think you have to teach kids the value of like hard work, and like, it shouldn't like you shouldn't do things just for the reward. You should also, like if you do good in school, like you should do it because you want to learn stuff. Like if you get a reward,
Of course.
great, you know.
I mean,
I feel like nowadays
Yeah.
people just do shit for the outcome. It's like, well, like yeah, I'll go to work, but only for the check, you know. Which is me too. Like
I was like,
say-
it's not you
that's
too.
That's literally me. But what I mean is like I still like to think that
Which-
I don't want to say learn, but like I'm also receiving some type of value from that employment, you know.
Right.
Whether it's like, oh, like, you know, I might have a future reference or
Right.
just the experience on my resume or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like tricky because some people like kind of have to work to survive. So some
Yeah,
people aren't
that's
like,
true.
you know what I mean? I
But
feel like
I think those people need that lesson the most because
I mean,
if you're just
maybe.
constantly working to survive, you're never going to see the opportunity to like kind of propel yourself out of that shit.
I mean,
And people do it all
Well,
the time.
totally, but
they
I
do
feel
it
like-
either way.
that again like kind of comes from a certain like privilege to be able to say that because if you
How-
think about like the average like American today, like all they are trying to do is like pay their rent, you know, they can't even think about just because
But
everything's
I
so
think that's just a
expensive.
lack of education. Like I think if you
I don't
I
agree.
think if all you know is survive, that's all you're gonna do. It takes something outside of you to be like, hey man, like check this out or some shit.
I guess, but what's that outside source going to be when every
could-
day it's like you have like 3 kids and you're the only one working and or you're
Yeah,
single,
I mean,
you know
I'm
what
not
I mean?
saying I know where to, you know, tell them to go get it. But
Yeah.
what I mean is like, there's a lot of people in very terrible situations who do make it out. And then there's people who just stay in the terrible situation. And I don't like to think that it's just because they're stuck in survival. Like I think they just haven't seen the light. You know? And like some people when they see that light, they're like, oh, I get it.
I get that to a certain extent, but I feel like pick up by your bootstrap is a very like
Nah, I'm
it's
not
easier
saying
said
that.
than done, you know?
I'm not saying that.
Yeah. But I do get what you mean, but I do feel like in certain situations it's like survival is all it is, you know,
Yeah.
sadly. And I think that's when it becomes like a generational thing because they kind of hope their kids would take them out of that
Right.
struggle, you know? But then it's like they're stuck in that cycle as well, which I feel like something I'm kind of dealing with. Not saying I'm hella struggling, but it's also like, am I like having to unlearn those bad spending habits, you
Right.
know? Which
Yeah.
is funny because my mom is very budgeter, you know? She,
Yeah.
like, that's how our household runs. She budgets everything.
Does your mom like coupon or anything?
Not so much. I don't know, actually. I
Always,
don't think so.
always wanted to be like a, a couponer.
An extreme
Yeah, like
couponer.
you see those people they
It's like $10
coupon
for like hella stuff. Ooh,
or they get
sorry.
money back. They're like, actually, you owe
Right.
me $20. And
Right.
you're like, how the hell?
But I feel like not in all those situations, but in some situations I've seen the shows, it's like people who are in the comfortable places. They just it's a hobby for them.
Yeah,
It's
no, for
weird, you
sure.
know. It's not. I'm sure people who really need it does it, but most times it's not the people who really need it.
I mean,
It's kind of
it's
crazy.
got to be like really time consuming to be sitting around
Exactly.
cutting coupons all day and like
Exactly.
calculating how much you're gonna save.
And it's like sometimes it's not even shit you really need, you
Yeah,
know? So, but I would love to do that. I think it'd be fun.
yeah. You know, I love a good finesse.
Totally, totally. I don't know.
So, what are your financial goals for 2023? Do you
Man.
have any?
I mean, to save as much as I can and to get rid of my credit card debt, which, you know, isn't that much,
Mm-hmm.
which I think I can for sure accomplish that by the end of the year. I think it's very doable.
Yeah,
That's my number one goal to get rid of my credit card debt. And then number two is just have I don't want to put a number on it, but have a sufficient savings that I can cover like a couple months of rent without thinking about it, you know?
yeah.
If that makes sense. If all else fails, like God forbid something happens, you know? That's my goal. That's my two main goals. I don't want to put a lot of goals, but yeah, what's yours?
I mean, I think it's always the same every year. It's like save as much as you can.
Right.
But for me, like one thing, you know, that I really want to do is like get a house
Yeah.
or like buy some type
Excuse
of
me.
property somewhere and like figure out like real estate, you
Yeah.
know?
Totally. And that's another like goal after that, you know, but I
Yeah,
have to
that
tackle my debt first.
you gotta exactly.
I
And you gotta
gotta,
have
yeah.
the initial money to like
Someone's calling you.
invest. It's hot to him.
Hey, Hatem, if you're listening,
No,
he will call you right back.
I won't.
You should call. Stop.
I'm kidding. I'll call you back.
I'm like, this is the second time. You should definitely call him back.
Anyways, what are you trying to expose me over here?
I know, right? Awkward. Hopefully he's not listening.
No, edit that out.
I can't. But no, yeah, those are my major goals. I also want to get a new car. I mean, I don't drive yet, but I think we need a new car. That's
Yeah.
like, that is my goal before the house, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, just a lot of goals. I'm a very,
A
we're
lot
very
of
goal,
purchases.
a lot of
This
fucking
money
purchases.
management podcast is all about purchases now.
I mean, that's what it is, right? Life is about purchasing and trying to save up and purchasing until you die.
Trying to get that new iPhone.
Speaking of which, I'm like, no, my iPhone's fine. It's just, I don't know. There's something about it that I like a lot about like just getting new stuff. It
I mean,
brings
it
me
makes
joy.
you feel good.
Yeah,
I feel like when you have new shit, you feel like you've accomplished something.
exactly. And especially now that I'm losing weight, I feel like I want new clothes, which I don't want to do. I'm trying to very hard to like tailor my stuff, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, your shit keeps like
I know it's fine.
yeah, but I don't know. That's my biggest thing right now. But let's see how I do next time I talk and I'll give you guys an update. But I'm trying. That's a lie. I am good because we're planning to go to outlets. I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna buy any new
Yeah,
clothes.
you're probably gonna buy shit
But
like this weekend.
I'm like, it's not this weekend because I have to work, but next week.
So, do you have any advice for our dear listeners?
Me, I'm the wrong person. How about you? I guess my thing is get a job in high school, save as early as you
Get a
can. I wish I had a
job
job
in
in
high
high
school.
school because I had too much free time just to get into dumb shit. And I know people are like, you should take your time, learn. Like, I was literally smoking and just hanging out with the wrong people. I could have used a job because my parents were very much like, just focus on your studies in college as well. I could have
Yeah.
used that structure, I think. What about you? So get a job in high school.
I don't
So
know. I
that's
said
one.
if you're gonna get a job, like you should. I don't know, like
What's your number one advice that you wish somebody told you?
um,
That's my thing. I wish somebody actually told me to get a job.
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess like
Ooh, got shoulder pains.
that's a good question. I don't know what I wish somebody told me.
That's what I wish somebody told. Because everybody in my life, like my family, was like, "Don't get a job," but it's because like they were working minimum wage, like shitty jobs, you know. And I probably would have gotten that, but I'm telling you, I needed the structure and like, I don't know. I think I needed that.
I think I would have I would have I wish somebody had told me to look for a job that pays high.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Cuz like you
Yeah,
it's
but it's
easier.
hard entry level, you know, when you're just.
Yeah, but there's industries you can get into.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Like the
Courses
sneaky
you
way.
can. Yeah, totally.
Like you can
Just people in the weed industry starting out so early. You
right.
know, we know.
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's
Like
true.
I wish somebody because that's
true.
why that's my problem with the get a job thing is like
Mhm.
if you get a job and you work at McDonald's, like good luck, dude. Like
I
you're
mean,
kind of.
dude, McDonald's pays for your school if you're with it. Are you joking? That's a bad
Do they
example.
really?
Yes, McDonald's and
But how many
Chipotle.
people are using that?
A lot of people actually. McDonald's and Chipotle specifically, if you're with them and do this whole program, they will pay for your college. Fun fact.
That's interesting. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. But
definitely.
my point was like if you get stuck in a dead end job, it's a lot harder to pivot.
I get you.
Um,
But as a high school student, no, you're just learning responsibilities. You know, making money.
but I guess my point is like in today's day and age, I would say like learn how to code or like learn how to
Yeah,
edit
well, of course.
videos or like
Yeah,
learn how
yeah.
to do sound engineering.
Nowadays it's different. You can even like try influence. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can do a lot of creative shit,
But
which is cool.
I would just say
Super
look
dope.
for a job that's gonna pay you well. Because the thing too, I realized with like careers is at least today, I don't know if this was the same like when we were in high school, but
Yeah.
experience matters way more than like
Yeah.
that fucking piece of paper. So if you can start building that skill in high school and by the time you graduate you have like a portfolio or like some type of proof,
Totally.
like I can code my ass off.
And I guess to tie in with that, with the experience, like it's the people you know more than the
Yeah.
experience, I think. So once
So networking
it
for sure.
exactly kind of goes in hand. The experience and the people you meet is number one. I guess another great tip is try to get a mentor early fucking
Yeah.
on because I'm finally finding my mentor right now, and it's great to just have someone who kind of watches your back, kind of tells be a mentor
Who's
to
gonna
you.
guide you, man? And it's so
Exactly.
funny you
It's
say that
really
because
cool.
I feel like up until like like the last maybe like 100, 200 years, that was how people did
Totally
shit.
apprenticeship, all
Yeah,
that.
like if you wanted to
Totally.
be a shoemaker, you had to go find a guy who was a shoemaker and be like, "Hey, dog, teach me
No, a
everything you know."
cobbler. I love that.
Yeah,
Right? That's a shoemaker? Or is
I
that
think
wrong?
so. Yeah,
Yeah. That's my
a
two
guy who
advices.
cobbles.
Get a job early on and get a mentor. And it can be literally any field that you're freaking interested in, like
Yeah,
anything. Just I think those are two essential things I wish somebody told me. Especially the mentorship. Without
it's
this
such a
job,
cheat code, dude.
right. Like without this job, I don't think I've ever would have thought about mentor. Ooh, another thing I learned from this job is something called sponsorships. And that's really important in like not the corporate ladder, but the professional ladder. What sponsorships are people when you're basically not in the room kind of talk you up. Like
Yeah.
my mentor does this when I'm not there. She kind of talks about me and says like what I do and kind of,
What's the
high,
opposite of that? That's me.
what do you mean?
I like to talk shit about people when they're not there.
You're just a hater at that point. That's not you. There's a million of you there.
I'm trying to de-sponsor somebody.
I can't. But I think sponsorship and stuff like that I just didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And I went to this tech event and then this one lady was like, I'm in my 40s and I just learned about sponsorships. Again, it's the people be friendly, talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know we're in a day and age we're very like individualistic into ourselves, but I think it's very important to it's cheesy, but find your tribe in a professional matter as well, not just people you want to party and get fucked up with.
I mean, that's very
Oh, my
important.
shoulders.
What's that one thing they say? Like, you are the sum of the five people
Exactly.
you hang out with. So, if you already, just take out friends, right? Because unless your friends are literally like in the same,
Exactly.
whatever career path or even just the similar mindset, I feel like you could still kind of like lump them in.
Totally.
But more than likely, if you're trying to, I feel like you can have separate tribes too. Like you can have your friend tribe,
Totally.
and then you can have like your professional
Totally.
tribe.
Of course. Sorry. We
But-
just went to the gym, so I'm sorry.
But you could also have people who just like unconsciously bring you down,
Exactly.
and like you need to be able to like identify that shit.
Totally. Because there will be a lot of haters out there, sadly. And I feel like sometimes people don't even want to be haters, but just it's natural, you know, jealousy.
It's human being. Like,
exactly, envy.
all this shit's just built
Like
in.
I don't
Like,
blame them, you know.
oh, they got that new Bugatti, man. Fuck that.
Yeah,
Like, you
like
know?
people wish. Yeah, like
Or
I really
whatever.
don't blame
Like,
them unless they're trying to like really harm me, you know.
yeah, I think it's. I think it's like natural for people to be like whatever jealous or hateful and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that has nothing to do. Like, I feel like people. There's like this thing where people. What's it called? Like damn, I'm drawing a blank. But like basically, it's like when you feel successful, or if you get successful and you feel like guilt.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's like survivor's guilt, but for
Like, yeah.
success. You know what I mean?
I see. I
Where-
guess you can see it with rappers and stuff. They make it
Yeah.
out the hood and they're in like Calabasas, and,
then-
everyone's like, "You're fake now."
Right.
You're, yeah.
Or like they
that was the only example I could think of.
they make it out like they're successful, and then they go hang out in the hood to be like, I'm still tapped in to
Right,
the streets. Or
right.
whatever. I don't even know what my point was, but don't do that shit either. Like, that's equally as bad. I feel like you can bring people up, but don't go back down. You know what I mean?
Of course, and that's the hater stuff, you know.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
it's human nature. When people around you are seeing it, it's a reflection of themselves, you know. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
if they made it out, if they could do this, why can't I? Like, I'm same as them, but
Yeah.
it's like you can.
you can exactly.
You just have to work hard, you
Right.
know. Like all the people, I mean, I'm not saying all the people who made it work the hardest, because obviously there's billionaires.
You
and
gotta
there's,
work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
you can work
Exactly.
if hard work made you successful. There'd be a bajillion more like rich people. You know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
there's no shortage of hard workers. You know
That's
what I mean?
exactly what
but
it
you gotta
is.
be smart too. You can't just
Totally.
be out here busting your ass every day for the next nigga,
Totally.
making them rich. Like,
I just learned this like interesting thing of TikTok. I swear, TikTok. I don't know why you're trying to ban TikTok, but this girl was government like bye. But damn, what was my point?
political takes.
Right? Oh, that's me always. I'm political AF. But what the fuck is my point? But basically,
Supporting China's takeover.
stop. No,
Continue.
this one girl was saying with rich people, they want to find like they want to invest in people that can just give them the easiest way to do anything. You know, if they could find somebody who can like tie their just simple
Yeah.
tasks they can think of that saves them time.
Right.
Because rich people have all the money in the world. It's time what they're looking for.
I think
And I thought that was a very interesting thing. And her whole point kind of was like, well, what we always talk about. What is missing in people's lives that could make it easier?
Yeah.
Specifically, she was catering to rich people because they have money, obviously.
It's funny you say that because I recently heard something from the other side. So this guy was like, I want to get as rich as possible as soon as possible so I can buy back my time. Because if you don't have money, you don't have time.
Exactly.
You have to work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To survive.
Right.
So it's like, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's like,
Because all back to capitalism, man. I'm trying to get communism back.
oh my God.
You're talking to a communist, socialist woman right here.
We got ourselves a problem.
No, but I mean, yes, but also no. I'm like, people are like, they're communists. We can't listen.
I do not
You
associate
know-
with these ideologies.
You know how Americans are. But no, all jokes aside, I guess, get a job, but also get a job that could kind of.
If you're gonna get a job and do that, just find something that's gonna reward you for your efforts, right?
Exactly.
So there's like the obvious one is like
Exactly.
sales, right? Like I don't personally like sales. I've tried it, it sucks. But sales is one of those like careers where if you're good at it, you can make uncapped amount of money,
Right.
right? And assuming you're working for a company that's like, you know, moral or whatever,
Yeah.
or at least aligns with your ideas, and you don't mind selling that product, like don't be out here finessing people.
Right.
Unless you want to, I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you how to live
You
your
probably
life.
shouldn't do that, but yeah.
But that's one example of something that you can like
Totally.
make a lot of money and then use that to like, I don't want to say start your own shit, but like use that in a way that can like free yourself from having to work unless you really like working.
Exactly. And kind of tying into that, unless you really have a yearning for learning or you want to learn a specific and you want to be a
Yearning for
doctor
learning.
or a lawyer or something that you need higher education, you don't have to go into
Yeah,
it.
fuck college.
There's I loved college, but I love to learn. And it was just a good
College is-
experience. But let me finish my thought. But there's other programs that people don't realize right out of high school, like Europe, especially targeting low income people. There's a lot of coding programs for people that you can take for a couple of years that honestly gonna make more money and save you money than college.
100%.
So definitely think about those. And I'm thinking about just people out of high school because, I mean, that's where it starts, right? Fun random fact that I learned about bells in schools and why that started. It started from factory work, and I didn't know this. I'm
Yeah.
sure you
And
already knew this. So apparently, it just goes back to capitalism. They do bells in schools to kind of train the younger generations because when bells were first introduced in factories, people were just not used to it, and they would be like, "What the fuck?"
yeah.
So that's why bells. It's always capitalism.
But
It's always money, man.
I mean, well, yeah,
You
because
know.
if they get rid of slaves, now they need another workforce, right? And if slaves are
Mm,
working 12 hours a day, you can only pump out 8 out of these motherfuckers. Because the other thing, too,
yeah.
is the 8-hour, like, workday coincides with school.
Right.
Usually,
Exactly.
right?
And
Like,
they're
when you're,
training us
when
for
you're
it.
kids. I mean, I don't know. I always thought school was bullshit. But I do think you need a institution
Totally.
for learning.
Totally. I'm for instance.
But
Yeah.
I think the way that our education system is set up is it's just teaching you, like, honestly, like, facts. Like, I think what people should learn is how to think for themselves, like how to
Right.
come
Right.
to a conclusion on
Exactly.
their own, and then how to like debate it with like find your own facts, find your own reasoning,
And
and
I'll
then
say
present an
school did
idea.
teach me that. I know a lot of people, especially college, because
College
of
for me,
research
yeah.
and everything. I know a lot, not a lot, but I know friends who just don't have that ability. Even, and I guess for my family, you can be like, oh, they're immigrants, whatever. But it's like the same immigrant, whoever's an immigrant listening. They be watching like Facebook news and they'd be like, oh my God, I discovered the
Yeah.
latest, just very misinformation. The same shit with like Fox News and the other side.
Right.
So but that's a whole different thing.
I had another point, but I lost it.
Sorry.
Um, it had something to do with the school thing, but yeah, I don't know. I think today there's so much free information that you don't. If you have the discipline and the curiosity, you can learn anything for
Totally.
free. Like,
But
basically for free.
That's the important thing. Discipline. That's kind of hard, unless
Yeah.
you're a very self-disciplined person. That's why you need these institutions. Not sadly, but
I mean, I don't
it's
know.
like you said, it's a double-edged sword.
Until we just don't have a because schools are a business, they have an incentive to
Of
convince you
course.
that you need school in order to do whatever.
Yeah.
But if you just don't,
Yeah.
like, you save yourself literally thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Unless
know.
again you're trying to be a lawyer, engineer,
Yeah. Those are very specific careers.
That's what I mean. And even with like my poli sci degree, I still enjoyed it, and I still think I would use that. Maybe not right now in my career, but I think it would be very.
But
Let me say it opened up my mind. Same with taking philosophy.
the only thing that I would argue is that the stuff that you probably learned in those classes are probably like on the verge of being outdated because our
Probably.
politics are changing so
Probably.
rapidly.
Well, that's not
And
what I
also-
learned in poli sci.
Yeah, but also what I mean is, like, you would probably learn.
More foundational shit.
Yeah, I know, like I know, but you would probably learn a lot more about real life politics just doing it.
Of
You
course.
know what I mean?
But with poli sci, like they don't, unless not the courses I was taking, they didn't really talk about like current events. I mean,
Oh, really?
obviously not really. Obviously, talk about
It was
Trump.
just like historical shit.
Kind of, but it's also international affairs. It's like theories. It's kind of different. But I mean, we talked about like Trump being president. But again, we didn't really like go into it, especially with political science. You're not supposed to be like, it's not a polarizing thing, It's very
Yeah.
like factual. So you don't really talk about today's politics because it is a very polarized thing.
Right.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Again, try it out. Loved it.
I don't know. College for me was just like a giant daycare for like
Really, I felt very independent. in
slightly
college.
older teenagers. No, you feel independent, but it's like they're holding your hand.
Not really. I didn't feel that way at all.
Bro, like, if you miss too many classes, like, the dean would call you and be like, hey, like, what's up? Like, you know
That's
what I mean?
never happened to me.
It's never happened. I've gotten called up before, and they're like, are you still in this
Really?
class? Yeah.
Damn, you must have missed it
I
a lot.
I just wouldn't go.
That's wild.
There were some classes where, like, dead ass, I was like, I'll just read the textbook and show up for the
And-
exam.
Damn, you're wild. And
But I would pass.
I've dropped classes because I didn't show up. No dean ever called me. I
The
don't know.
dean, I don't know if it was the dean, but like
I've never done that before.
not the counselor. Is it a counselor? I think it's
Probably
the counselor.
yeah. I was like, the dean? I don't know if we had a dean at that school.
There's a dean.
There
Every
was?
school has
Oh,
a
I
dean.
didn't know though.
I think it was the counselor, not the dean.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
tripping.
what? But even then, no, I've never had that. But I guess I attended my classes.
Yeah.
Or just they didn't give a fuck about me. They're like, whatever.
Yeah,
girl.
they didn't care.
Like, you do you. We have a lot of Asians here.
Yeah, I was fucking around in college. I did not
That's so
care.
funny. But yeah, do you wanna wrap it up?
I can tell you do.
I have to pee.
He's like 30 minutes in. Let's
Is it
shut
only
this
30
down.
minutes?
Yeah,
How can you tell?
because I looked at my shit when it started.
Oh, okay.
But that's cool. I don't know. That was a
That was
cool
the
little
gist of
short
it.
rant on money management. Let us know if you want to hear us blabber on about another topic. If you made it to the end,
Say pomegranate.
say
Or
pomegranate.
tell us. Or comment below.
Yeah, or comment below if you're watching this on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you can't
You
comment
can't
on the other
comment on
stuff.
Spotify, but leave
Or
us a
like
review.
it.
God damn it, we're trying to get up there.
Yeah.
This is our way to financial freedom or whatever. We're trying to get lit. You feel me?
That part.
Anywho, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye. We might do some ASMR.